Do you ever get that feeling of wanting to purge everything in your home because the clutter becomes overwhelming and it's preventing you from focusing on other things? Maybe you have stacks of mail on the kitchen counter, a heap of shoes in the entryway, knickknacks and random items cluttering the bookshelves, or even a pile of clothes in your closet that you know you will never actually wear. No matter the situation, we're going to talk about how clutter might be affecting other areas of life, including your routines, and what you can do about it. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. When we're trying to put routines into place to help us get more organized and stop feeling so overwhelmed, clutter can play a huge role in interrupting that process and that progress that we can make. And in reverse, if we are really flowing with the routines that we have and we start building up clutter, it can really derail us in ways that we don't even realize sometimes. So, number one, when you have clutter around you, it means that you have more stuff to clean up. So, decluttering can help you get rid of things so that you're not constantly picking those up. So, it helps a ton when it comes to maintaining your home by simply not having to clean so much stuff all the time. The second thing is that it helps reduce your decision fatigue when you can get rid of clutter. Everything needs a home so that you don't need to overthink it. This helps so that if you have a room that is full of clutter right now, then everything doesn't have its own home. So everything just kind of gets pushed off to another counter or gets moved from one place to another because it doesn't really have a spot to go or it doesn't fit in the spot that it's supposed to go because there's too much clutter. So if you really kind of close your eyes and think about your home, having a spot for everything. So every item that you have has a home for itself. And when you need to clean things up and you need to quickly go through and reset your home, it's a matter of just grabbing those items and putting them back where they go. But think about how frustrating this can be if those items don't have a home. Because then you don't know what to do with it, and it gets frustrating and overwhelming just trying to figure out where to put the stuff. So, by decluttering and getting rid of all of the excess, it starts to feel so much less stressful and frustrating because you don't have to deal with trying to figure out where to put the things that don't have a place. And then the third thing that I want to just mention here is that when you can get rid of the clutter and you minimize all of the stuff, it gives you a better sense of calm. And not only does it give you that better sense of calm because you know everything has its home and you aren't feeling overwhelmed by everything around you, it's also saving you money because if you are reducing the amount of items in your home, you're not buying additional items to clutter the house with. So not only are you reducing the stress and the decision fatigue and the overwhelm and making it easier to clean up and having all of these benefits, you're also saving money at the same time. So it's all very beneficial. But we need to ask ourselves like when we are feeling overwhelmed with all of the clutter or even if it's just a minimum amount of clutter, whether you have a ton of clutter or just some kind of annoying clutter, no matter what the scale is of how much clutter you have, we need to ask like how do we go about reducing the clutter without making it feel like some overwhelming task that we need to go through our entire home and get rid of everything? It can feel really daunting. It almost feels like you're getting ready for a big move and you have to go through everything. That feels really stressful. So let's not think about it as going through our whole house and getting rid of the clutter. We need to know how to break this down. So, number one, you need to start small. You need to start by focusing on just one section, one drawer, one small space at a time, and focusing on just taking care of that. And a great way to do this is to either pinpoint the places or the areas in your home that drive you the most crazy or tend to get cluttered the quickest, and just figuring out a space to, or figuring out a time, I should say, to take care of that and declutter that space. But another option is to really like go through and pick a room. So let's say your room that you're going to start with is your office, and your office is going to be the room that you declutter first. So instead of just going into your office and saying, okay, what do I get rid of? Really focus on specific areas. Like grab a piece of paper and just write down all the different areas. It's top drawer, the middle drawer, bottom drawer, it's the pencil drawer, it's the bookshelf, or maybe it's even like a specific uh, shelf on the bookshelf. It's like the top shelf, the middle shelf, the bottom shelf. Like write down all of the different areas so that it's broken up. So if you start to feel overwhelmed, you can just focus on one small area first. If you have some time to go in and go through all of these different areas in one day, then that's amazing. But if you are really overwhelmed and you go in and you go in with this list and you pick the top drawer of the desk and the middle drawer of the desk to start with the top drawer, get through it, get all the clutter out of there, choose what you need to keep, get rid of the rest, and check it off your list. Then go to the middle drawer and just get through what you can in the time that you can. So, most places that we are decluttering take like a matter of minutes, but we end up feeling like it's so daunting that we make it a bigger deal than it really is. If we just take a couple of minutes out of our day and go clean out one drawer or one shelf, you're going to get through it much quicker and it's not going to be overwhelming. And you're going to find that the progress builds and you're going to like make a huge dent in the clutter in a very short span of time because it's not overwhelming and you're getting to it in small chunks. So, keeping it small and focusing on those smaller sections at a time is a really great way to do the decluttering. The second thing is to actually make it a habit. And this can be something that you have to be really intentional about in the beginning, but over time, you will find that you just start automatically doing it without even thinking about it. So, a great way to do this is to make sure that you have a donation box somewhere in your home. This means that you have a box specifically for things that you are getting rid of. And everybody in your household knows about it so that if they come across something that they don't want anymore, instead of just shoving it to the back of the closet or pushing it over to the corner of the room because you don't want to think about it anymore, you don't actually need it. Instead, those items can go into the donation box. And when you have a donation box set up like this, then when you come across something in your home, whether it's you or somebody in your family, you come across something that you no longer need or want, you can just take that item, and if it's in good enough shape to be able to donate, then just put it in the donation box. If it's not, get it in the trash and just get rid of it. And when you start coming across things and start making this a habit, you're going to do this without thinking about it. And all of a sudden, you're going to find that you start getting less and less clutter throughout your home. Another thing that you can do to make this a habit is to actually schedule in time to do like 10-minute declutter hunts. And this is where you don't actually have a specific, well, you could have a specific space to do this, but really it's like grabbing a garbage bag or a box or two. Ideally, it'd be two. It's one for trash and one for donations. And you literally just set your timer for 10 minutes and you run through your house or you run through a specific space and you just fill up the bags as quick as you possibly can before that timer goes off. And when that timer goes off, you're done. You put the donations in the donation box, you put the trash in the trash, and you have done a 10-minute declutter hunt. And those are really fun ways to just get going and get through your house and do it really quickly without putting too much thought into it. Because if we start thinking too much about what we're getting rid of, that can also prevent us from moving forward in a lot of things because we get sentimental or we just get stuck on, well, will I really need this or anything like that? This just gives you a chance to just do it and do it very quickly. And the last thing that I want to mention as you're trying to figure out how to reduce your clutter is to find a method that works for your brain. When you look at decluttering, there are so many different people offering advice on how to do this or what method to do, or different routines and systems on how to get rid of the clutter. And some of them might work really well for you, and some of them might not work very well at all. And just because you try something that doesn't seem to work well doesn't mean that you need to stop trying and that's not cut out for you. It just means you need to tweak some things and find a method that works well for you. So, one of those methods that I am talking about is in episode 119. And I share the declutter method that I like to use. It's just four simple steps. And this works really well for my brain, whether I'm going through the kitchen cabinets or the office drawers or my closet, whatever, whatever I'm going through, this works really well for me. And maybe it'll work well for you. You can try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then just tweak it and find what does work for you. But that episode 119 is the four-step method to declutter. And basically, it breaks it down to remove, choose, and then bag it or box it, and then organize and categorize. And that episode will give you a more detailed look at what that method looks like. But it really does help when you find a method that works the way that your brain works. And it also helps to reduce the decision fatigue of how to actually get rid of things and not feel like we need to hold on to everything, especially when we have a lot of clutter. It could be because you're holding on to it thinking that you might need it someday. And when we're in that mode of thinking we might need it someday, it's hard to let go of things, or we get the sentimental attachment to it. And when we start finding how much more peaceful we feel when we get rid of stuff and find that we don't actually need the things, then this is a way that we can do it without feeling overwhelmed. And one of the things that I really like doing as well is that if I am feeling overwhelmed with certain items, but I really am not sure if I want to get rid of them yet, um, to box them up and write a date on it, write what it is, and then get it in a place that is away from that section of your home. So, for instance, one of the things that I did as an example here is that we went through all of our utensils in our kitchen probably a year or 2 ago. It must have been 2 years ago, I bet. I think I actually talked about it on the podcast. So if you hear me talking about it in a different episode, this is what I'm talking about. But we went through the utensils in our drawer. We had a big drawer, we had lots of different utensils, and it was like we don't use all of these, and we definitely don't need all of them. Some of them were kind of niche items where it has a specific purpose. So we went through that drawer and I picked out all of the ones we use regularly and I put them back in the drawer. And then what was left, I was like, okay, we don't need some of these things often, but it is nice having them when, maybe it's a seasonal utensil or something like that. So I pulled out the ones I knew I wanted. And then I had my husband go through and look them over and see which ones he really likes using, whether it's for cooking or the grill or whatever. And he went through and he picked out the ones that he wanted to make sure we kept. So all of the rest that stayed, I knew some of them could be just donated because we knew we didn't need those, but there were a handful of items that were like, I'm not really sure I want to get rid of this because we might need it, and I would hate to not have it if we need it. So what I did is I just boxed them all up. I labeled the box as utensils and everything, and I put them down in the basement. And I said, if I don't pull anything out of this box, then I can donate it. And I can be like more confident that we don't actually need these things. So sure enough, I boxed it all up. I put it in the basement. At some point, we came across something where it was like, okay, I think there was one item out of there that I was like, "Oh, I know that's in the box downstairs. I'll go get it." And so I grabbed just that one item and I brought it back up and we used it and we started using it regularly and or fairly regularly, enough that it was handy to have it. But then the rest of the box just sat there. and it did nothing. So eventually, I just took the whole box and I put it in the donation box, and those went off to Goodwill because we ended up not needing them. But it gave me that confidence to get rid of those because I knew at that point that we did not need them. But I had to get them out of that space in order to know for sure and to get rid of them with confidence. So if that is something that is going to give you more security to box it up, get it out of the space, know that you still have access to it in case you need to go back and get something, but really discern, do you actually need it? And then make sure that after a certain amount of time passes, you go back and you get that box and then you go and donate it instead of having it sit in your basement or in your closet for how long. If it's just going to be sitting there, we don't need to store the things. We just need to get rid of them at that point. So you could put it in a calendar, you can put a date on the box, whatever you need to do to make it work for you. But there are definitely ways to be able to start small and to start boxing things up and getting them out of our houses, out of our lives, to make sure that we have the rest of our home to actually put into use the things that we need and to give them a home. And then you're going to find that when you start getting rid of all the clutter and you start having a home for all of the items that you have, all of your routines are going to work better because you're spending less money. So you're going to work better with your budget routine. You're going to be able to clean up much quicker. You're going to be able to reset your home much faster when you don't have so much stuff to work around. So your home routine is going to go insanely quick when you start getting um, these methods of decluttering into place. And then when you are just doing all of your other tasks, you're going to feel less stressed and it's going to bleed into all of the other things that you do in your life, especially with your routines. You're going to feel more organized when your home feels more organized. So that is something that I would strongly encourage you to do is if you have any clutter in your home, even if it's a small amount of clutter, get rid of it. It only takes a few minutes and you're going to feel so much more at peace when you have done that. So, a couple quick recap items to start reducing the clutter, or how you can start reducing the clutter, is to number one, start small, focus on that one section, drawer, space, anything like that at a time, and write a list if you need to, and just start checking them off as you go. Number two, to try and make it a habit, always have that donation box somewhere in your home that you and your family know about it. And always think about just setting that timer for 10 minutes and just going at it and doing as much as you possibly can. It's going to make a huge difference. And eventually, you're going to start decluttering without even realizing it. It's just going to be something that you do as you work through your day, and you don't even have to give it much thought. And then the third thing is to make sure that you test out different methods and you find something that works well for the way that your brain works. And if you want to try my method, you can go to episode 119 for the declutter method for four simple steps. And you can use this method in any space of your home, whether it's a full room or a drawer or whatever. It works really well, at least for my brain, and hopefully it will work well for you too. So I hope that you give this some thought. I hope that you take just a couple minutes out of your day to get rid of the stuff in your life that you no longer need so that you can have a better sense of peace and calm, and donate those things to other people that are in need. That will also help you feel a lot better. But we will move through our days feeling just so much more at peace and less overwhelmed. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.